Today, the word from God to you is Jesus is God's Son. Listen to him. Oi, oi, welcome to day 17 of my lockdown. Today, are you listening to Jesus? Now, we're in Matthew chapter 17, where this incredible experience happened for Peter and Jesus and James and John. And what happened is Jesus suddenly transfigures. He turns from being in this earthly body till they see him as he really is. He's shining bright. It's like they suddenly get a glimpse into his heavenly being. And he's there chatting with these two other guys. And Peter has this moment where he does what most of us do when we've had this religious experience. And he says, this is incredible. It's wonderful to be here. Verse 4, I'll make 3 shelters, 3 tents, 3 memorials. Let's remember this moment. It's incredible. Let's keep hold of it. Let's not move on. I want to remember this moment where I've experienced something spiritual and heavenly. But even as he's speaking, verse 5, so God's not polite. I'll let you finish your sentence. Even as he's speaking, a bright cloud overshadows them. A voice from the cloud, as in God, says, this is my dearly loved Son, who brings me great joy. Listen to him. And at that the disciples fell down as though they're dead, terrified, because they realised actually this is God speaking to them. Now you've maybe had a spiritual experience in the past. Maybe you've had an emotional moment in worship or in church or an encounter where you feel something's happened, and it's so tempting to think, I just want to have this moment. I want to keep it as it is. I want to build a memorial and remember this moment. But God interrupts all of that and says, I'm not interested in any of that stuff. He says, what's important is this is my Son, Jesus. Listen to him. And today the word from God to you is Jesus is God's Son. Listen to him. It doesn't matter about your experience, doesn't matter about your emotions and your feelings. God is more bothered whether you are listening to his Son Jesus, because it's easy to get carried away in emotional, spiritual experience and worship, and we go down a tangent, and before we know it, we're doing something weird like Peter is, of let's have a monument to remember this, let's have a religious structure around this because this was an awesome time. No, you got it so twisted. God just says, listen to my Son. And when God speaks to you, it's not always, oh yeah, God's like my busy mate. He's just like Skyped me or Zoomed me. How you doing? It's cool. I encourage you. Sometimes God does do that. But actually, when these disciples recognized it was God the Father speaking, they fell down. They were aware of their sinfulness. They were aware of how incredible God is and how unincredible, if that's a word, they are. When Jesus speaks to you, often that encounter will be an overwhelming sense of how amazing God is. If you don't have that, maybe you have limited God and put him in a box that he just has this little voice. Maybe it's time to remember that God is the most incredible, ultimate being. And when he speaks, we should listen. When he speaks, it makes a difference because he's not like us. So today, day 17, I pray you have an awesome Sunday, have a brilliant day, but let's be people who don't put who don't put God in a box, who don't have these religious memorials. Let's be people who listen to the voice of Jesus today. Be blessed, have a great day. I would love to hear your feedback, your questions. If you want me to pray for you, send me a message, and please share this message. Let's get it out far and wide that there's a God who cares, who is speaking if we're willing to listen to him.